What do you call a show where cows sing?
Oh God, this is going to be really stupid. Is what Brian? What do you call a cow?
A musical. Get it, Mark? Get it? A musical. Mark, are you okay?
That's it. Come here.
Ow! Ooh, no, not the face. Not the face. Whoa! Oh, definitely wasn't the face. I didn't think it was that bad. Mark, can I ask you a question?
What is it, Brian?
It's an interrogative statement used to test knowledge, but that's not important now. What I want to know are you getting excited for Midwest Streaming?
Ugh, really? You're starting an episode by pimping our live WizardCast recording at Midwest Streaming. That's how you're starting.
Well, it's for the users who simply fall asleep laughing before they finish the episode. You know, it's important to them to know that they can see us live at Midwest Streaming on July 21st and 22nd. All they need to do is register at MidwestStreaming.com.
Brian, people don't fall asleep laughing.
That's MidwestStreaming.com. That's streaming without the G.
When in Rome, we'll be interviewing the amazing Erica Cool.
I'm in Wisconsin. And we'll be live, so it'll be funny stuff that is only apparent if you're in the live audience.
Plus, you'll hear all of Brian's flubs unedited.
Oh, flub.
Uh-huh.
Now it's time in the show. I flubbed. Now's that time in the show where we like to thank our sponsors.
We're not actually getting any money, since these are fake companies from developer orgs, so they aren't really sponsors.
It's not even a developer org anymore.
Well, that's got to be in somebody's developer org, right?
Technically, it's our developer org.
Exactly.
And you know, Mark, I'm really hurt. How am I supposed to attract real sponsors if you keep ruining the sponsor spots?
They're not really sponsors.
Anyways, today's episode is brought to you by Sodium Crackers, the only cracker made from 100% sodium, guaranteed to literally explode in your mouth with flavor. Now comes in the wonderful flavor, Spicy Edition. Set your mouth on fire.
You know, Brian, have you ever noticed that we never seem to have the same sponsor 2 episodes in a row?
I just read the script, Mark.
I'm just saying it's pretty sad that not even fake sponsors, Brian, find us attractive enough to come back twice.
Are you suggesting we're the podcast of shame?
There is not enough shame in the world, Brian.
Oh. Okay. Bye then.
Get back here. Okay, kids, it's time for...
Yo Wiz!
Awesome. We have a different type of Yo Wiz this episode.
Well, what do you mean? I get really apprehensive when you say things like that, Brian. I mean, someone just asks us a question and we answer it, right?
Yeah, true, but this is kind of different because this is actually from an email I received from Paula.
Paula who?
I don't know.
Just says Paula?
Just says Paula.
Okay,
contacted
Paula.
us through the Contact WizardCast link on the wizardnews.com.
Okay.
And I reply to almost all of these. And
Right.
Unfortunately, this reply bounced. It said that the mailbox was full, so I couldn't actually answer.
Oh.
Now, this wasn't an actual question for the WizardCast, even though it came in through that form. It was actually a question regarding one of my Wizard Apprentice videos on YouTube, which you can also find at thewizardnews.com.
Oh, way to sneak in a plug for your own website there. Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just explaining the circumstances.
Uh-huh.
You did ask what made this Yo Wiz different.
Right.
TheWizardNews.com.
Okay, right. Okay, so the email bounced. You still want to provide an answer, so you're doing it here. Okay,
Right.
fine. Gotcha.
Okay.
So what's the question?
Well, Paula asks 2 questions. First, she says she really likes my videos, and that gives her a great way to explain things.
So far, I'm not hearing an actual question, Brian.
Okay, well, she continues with her first question, which is if I ever do one-to-one training.
Well, do you?
Well, occasionally. Normally it's part of a conference where I'm staffing a booth, like, the admin zone at Dreamforce or at a user group meeting. I do one-on-one trainings for some of my clients at Better Partners. Normally, we do the work for our clients, but occasionally we'll have a request to have the admin be part of our solution so they can kind of learn what to do and help out. And of course, we're happy to oblige them, but that's not a free service since, it's part of work.
Yeah. So while you're doing your plug, I'm going to mention that I work for a consultant as well called Claris Group. And if you have questions and you're not in Brian's immediate vicinity, maybe my company can help there. Now we're even, Brian. Can we move on now? What's the second question?
I really wish I edited the podcast and not you now. Second question. Can the user import a file as part of Flow? So the example she gave me is she wanted a user to import multiple opportunities for a single account.
Import opportunities as a file?
Yeah, so she wanted to have a file get uploaded through a Flow and then use that as the basis for
parse
creating the
CSV.
Yeah, right? So I think there's a couple of things you have to consider. One is, do you really want them to be mass creating opportunities like that?
Yeah, you want your users to be mass creating
Right.
opportunities?
Because if you're going to use a CSV
possibly
file,
go wrong.
you could just teach them how to use Data Importer, right?
Yeah, but
The
you
free
can't
tool.
import opportunities through Data Importer, can you?
You can import anything through Data Importer.
Oh, can you?
Not the wizard, but the actual
I'm thinking of the
Data Loader. I misspoke. It's
Oh,
Data
yeah,
Loader.
no, data. Yeah,
Yeah.
Data Loader. Yeah, but Data Loader again. That's a lot of power, Brian.
Right.
It's not something you want your average user to be.
So if you were going to
wielding.
create multiple opportunities on the same account, the first thing I would do is say, well, what are the common things that are going to be the same across all the opportunities?
Right.
And those are the ones that you could have set as the default within your flow to make it easier for your users to enter in data. I would counter, though, that maybe this isn't something you want to use flow at all. If you're able to do that type of defaulting, maybe you should be looking at a publisher action instead.
Yeah, I mean, this really seems like, well, okay, whenever we're answering this kind of question as people helping people or as consultants, the first thing we ask is not
what the solution is, but rather what's the real problem.
what's the problem. Yes, that's the first thing we do is try to figure that out, and then we can try and come up with a good solution. Importing a file as part of a flow is one of those, hey, here's a possible solution that we might come back and counter with and say, well, why do you want to do that? Because maybe there's a much better way of doing this. Importing, okay, so let me guess as part of this, right? So if they want to import multiple opportunities at once, they want the user to be able to do that, that to me says that they want quick creation of opportunities. Oh my God, I just said quick. They want fast creation of opportunities, right? And so, yes, something like publisher action.
Mark flubbed and not Brian.
That wasn't a flub. I'm leaving that one in. That was either a publisher action because that's a quick thing or some kind of clone, right? Maybe that's the way they need to go about it. And a flow could be a really good way of doing that. I myself have used flows to clone opportunities.
And maybe
really
it's
fast and
really
easy.
a process problem. Why do you need to be creating multiple opportunities for the same account? Are they what type of opportunities? Like I knew one company that had a rule that you can only have one product per opportunity. And so they would end up having like 5 or 6 opportunities they would have to manage because they were selling 6 different products at the same time to the same company.
And that's bad.
That's
right. Bad.
It was done because of some decisions they made at the architecture of how they were handling pricing information at the opportunity level. And it would have been easily fixed had you backed and redone it the way it probably should have been the first time.
Yeah, if you are an admin for a Salesforce org that does one product per opportunity, you need to go back and reevaluate your stack and figure out a better way of fixing whatever is necessitating that, because it's incredibly inefficient. It bogs down your salesmen with what they are trying to do, with what they're trying to close. It creates a lot of extra work for them. It's a lot of extra records. If it eats up your Salesforce data, there are almost no circumstances that is acceptable.
I mean, the bottom line is whenever you're making or creating more than one record at a time, you want to make sure the reasons behind that are sound, both at the database structure and the process space, but also that it just simply makes sense for what you're trying to solve. So let's make the assumption, Mark, that there was a good reason why they want to create multiple opportunities on an account at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's totally possible.
I don't know any way to import a file through Flow. The only way I'm familiar with doing an import like that is either you use notes and attachments or you use like a Visual Force page.
Yeah. And this is another thing that's actually come up in recent conversations I've had with various people. Flow is awesome. Flow is amazing. Flow does not solve every problem.
And Flow is not code.
And Flow is not code. Flow is so amazing and awesome that it lends people to believe that it can replace all code. It can't. There's a lot of stuff it can't do. And we are Flownatics, right? We are like the people who are actively talking about it and proposing it every opportunities we get. And, attachments, or rather file handling, is automatic like no.
Especially if you want to do something with that file, like parse it out to make new records.
Yeah. No. And frankly, there are some things that people think, oh, well, I know that I can create a flow that it's going to let me run through every opportunity in my system and look for tweaks. But, guess what? That's probably not actually the best way to do that. Apex is probably going to be the best because you're going to hit limits real fast. Flow does have limits.
Well, everything has limits.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
I mean, Apex has limits.
Yeah, you can bulkify Apex a lot better than you can Flow, is what I'm getting at. Flow has its flaws. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It pushes the declarative cliff. This may not be a case where Flow is going to help.
Yeah. So, Paula, I hope you listen to the podcast and this answer is somewhat helpful to you.
And you might want to fix your email.
Yeah.
You might want to fix your email, Paula. Your mailbox.
You can always contact us again. You can reach us at wizardcast@thewizardnews.com. You can also see the Wizard Apprentice videos that I created that Paula mentioned.
There it is.
At bit.ly/Wizard Apprentice, all lowercase.
Totally called it. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I forgot the slash between the LY and the Wizard Apprentice, but people are smart. They would know that, right?
Sure. We'll go with that. Now it's time for our Salesforce video of the undetermined amount of time until the next one.
The video this episode is called Trailhead DX 2016. That makes no sense. It's Trailhead DX 2016.
That's what it is. It's a capital D, it's a capital X. Look at the actual page. That's
so is it pronounced Trailhead X?
Nobody knows, Brian.
Anyways, the song title is Solo Admin by Apex and the Limits.
Hang on. I mean, I know I'm in the band, but another Apex and the Limits video?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you're right.
Really?
Let's change the segment to Apex and the Limits video, the undetermined amount of time into the next one, but likely next month when they release a new video.
All right, fine. Points made. This is a video of myself and the rest of the band. Now I'm self-promoting. Wait, I'm not You put me up to this, Brian.
Mark, have you wondered, since you can bulkify Apex, do you think Apex and the Limits, the band, will ever bulk themselves up?
bit.ly/soloadmin if you want to watch the video.
Oh, lowercase.
Yeah, what he said.
I thought it was a nice way to tie the segments together.
Yeah, it was a callback. Yeah, it was a nice callback. It's just, whatever you are calling back to, you want to be good. So, there's that.
WizardCast is produced by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, directed by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, script writing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, audio editing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, shameless self-promotion by Brian Kwong, and our intern this episode was Ninjas.
Ninjas! Send us your interview suggestions, jokes, videos, tips, and feedback to wizardcast@wizardnews.com or head over to thewizardnews.com and click Contact WizardCast.
Oh. Darn ninjas. Don't forget to subscribe to the WizardCast and receive our next episode automagically.
And if you enjoy our show, we'll appreciate a review on iTunes at bit.ly/WizardCast. It helps others find this podcast so they can hear it too and have to endure everything that you've just had to endure.
Like being attacked by ninjas.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm Brian.
And I'm going to try one of these crackers. These look delicious.
Oh, yeah. I got two and this weird mineral water. Thanks for listening. Do you still have your teeth? Mark, I discovered something amazing.
What? How to warm up so you don't slur your words when you get too excited every podcast?
No, that's impossible. I found out my mother hasn't been listening to our podcast.
Okay, mine neither.
Well,
What?
She didn't even know where to find it. You know what that means?
That your mother stereotypically doesn't know how to operate modern technology and probably can't set the clock on her VCR either?
Well, yes. First, she doesn't have a VCR because, 2016. But it really means that those 200 downloads of Apex and the Limits episode didn't come from my mother. We have actual listeners.
No.
Yes.
No.
So maybe more than 4 people downloaded it 50 times.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Look, if it wasn't my mother and it wasn't your mother, somebody's mother had to be listening to this podcast.
That guy's shaft is one bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
Feeling refreshed now.
I refreshed like a brand new diaper.